You're watching CarTell TV and I'm Jenny.
Every brand starts somewhere and hopefully improves, grows and continues to evolve.
Kia and Hyundai are prime examples of this evolution.
They both continue to sell more cars every year, and from very humble beginnings in Australia nowadays, we love them more and more.
Their cars from over a decade ago were boring to look at, uninspiring to drive, but cheap to run and buy.
Small city cars were a prominent part of the lineup, and they were equally as good as the other categories. Well, if they were good in the past, now there is no doubt that they have improved considerably since then.
Anyway, today I'm taking you through the 2019 Kia Picanto in the latest GT trim. This generation Picanto has been around for a few years and is very popular in this segment. So Kia's just given it a zesty upgrade to prolong its life. The changes are actually pretty easy to spot.
Compared to the GT line, which was offered last year as well, the GT has a different engine, different suspension tune, and different power steering setup.
I'm going to see if it's enough to make this noticeably better.
I personally think it looks nice. Red accents on the outside, and the recognisable Kia grille. It also has a very narrow and upright front that makes it look far more massive than it really is. And a lip spoiler with low fog lights above it really make the Picanto look okay.
Yes, it's nice, and it does have a bit of that sporty flair, but for me, I really feel like the sportiness should have been more obvious.
Visually, it's also completely the same as the GT line trim, even including the 16-inch wheels. The rear even has a diffuser, which looks very nice.
All in all, it's nice, but again, I really feel like there should have been a bit more to differentiate it from the GT line. I mean, it's got a different engine. Let's talk that up.
The biggest novelty is the engine. While the lower trims still get the naturally aspirated 1.25-litre four-pot with 62 kilowatts and 122 Newton-meters of torque. The latest GT gets this new turbocharged 1-litre inline 3 with 74 kilowatts and 172 Newton-meters of torque. Forced induction brings the upgrade in power and also brings a wider, more available torque curve. The top force comes from 1500 revs and goes all the way up to 4000, where the naturally aspirated unit maxes from 4000 revs.
And that makes a big difference.
This engine only comes with a 5-speed manual, while the 1.251 has the same manual or a pretty outdated 4-speed automatic option.
So it's definitely more powerful, but it is not fast, so don't think that.
Despite what the spec sheet says, there's not much power that low in the range. If you want any real push, you have to go at least past 2200.
For flat surface cruising, 1500 revs is just fine. If you take the car past 60, then 5th gear you'll cruise with ease. But for overtaking, you'll want to drop back to 4th to get the power you need.
Get it high up in the rev range, and on a twisty road, the Picanto is pretty fun. However, it's definitely not designed for this. The initial novelty is quickly replaced by fatigue that both the car and the driver will feel. It's not intended to swing through curves at high speeds. It is supposed to offer a nice drive with enough power for city streets, merging, and occasional swift acceleration.
It's definitely an upgrade from the 1.2-litre engine, and that's welcome. Just do not expect it to be a hot hatch, because that it is definitely not.
Speaking of gears, the gearbox is not the best. I mean, it does its job well, but it's too flimsy really to inspire any confidence. Knowledge says it's familiar, reliable, and trouble-free. But the feel while shifting is a little less reassuring.
What I love is that because the Picanto is so lightweight, it really feels quite dynamic to drive.
Weighing just above 1,000 kilograms and having 16-inch wheels with a thin sidewall tyre makes it really stable. Now obviously don't have any expectations for this little thing to feel good on rough roads.
But on smooth surfaces, the ride is composed and direct and pretty fun. Now, not so much from the engine, but more from that composed ride and the precise steering.
Being a city car, it's really important to be agile and easy to park in tight spaces.
Now the upright design is amazing for this. I have good visibility, and for extra confidence you have the reversing camera and the parking sensors.
The driving position is pretty good, the seat slides back pretty far, and there's rake adjustment for the steering wheel, but no reach adjustment.
I feel like I've got a comfortable amount of room for me, and I'm average height, 5'6".
Headroom's great, but the whole space is as tight as you would expect it to be in a small city car, so there's not much wiggly room other than sliding the seat back and forth.
Back seats are decent even for adults, as long as there's only 2 people back here.
Legroom is actually pretty good, better than I expected for a car of this class. Thanks to that high body, headroom's not an issue either.
Storage is very limited back here. There's only these small door compartments and one map holder. Now I know no one uses maps anymore, but why can't they have two? I mean, we could put snacks in there. I like my passengers to feed me snacks while I drive.
Up front, storage is decent for a car this size. There is a large tray with these two cup holders behind it that you spin open with the press of a button. With the cup holders borders removed, that gives you a pretty good chunk of storage space.
Now there's a tray here for your mobile phone, and there's a bit more space here next to the parking brake. It is a cute, very tiny little compartment under the armrest. And of course you get glove box and bottle holders in the doors. Bottle holders should be mandatory in my opinion.
The 7-inch screen is standard across the range and it's positioned really well. Both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are also standard.
I think it's a really good placement for this screen. It's in a position that's really easy to see, and the resolution looks pretty crisp, including the reversing camera.
Plastics on the inside are not of a very high quality, but I doubt anyone will be surprised by this.
The boot has a capacity of 255 litres, and that's definitely good for the class and good for a little city run around. Now, if you want to buy this and you have a pram, you are going to have to try it out first. I don't know if a twins pram would fit in here.
Rear seats do split 60-40 and fold, but the floor is not completely flat. Still, it is a nice feature to have. You can take larger cargo, providing you can actually get over this ridge.
This generation of the Picanto came out with a 4-star ANCAP rating, and it has since improved. So let's go through those features that are available.
It comes with ABS, autonomous emergency braking, traction control, electronic stability control, vehicle stability management, hill start assist, rear parking sensors, rear view camera, dusk sensing headlights, LED DRLs, fog lights, 2 ISOFIX points, side door impact beams, childproof rear door locks, and impact sensing automatic unlocking.
Pretty impressive, right? And aside from the LED daytime running lamps and the fog lights, which are not available in the bottom trim, everything else is standard across the range. Yes, you get it all, even in the cheapest Picanto. So what's my conclusion about the new Picanto GT?
It's most definitely not a hot hatch, despite its GT moniker. So don't expect massive performance or proper hot hatch driving fun.
What you get is a very popular small city car that just got a bit better to drive, and I do recommend trying the GT version. You'll love it. So long as the sporty drive is not your main priority, in that case you might need to look elsewhere.
With the offers at the time of us filming for this video, pricing for the Picanto starts at $15,790 for the S manual and work their way up to $18,790 for this GT manual.
It's a small city buzzer with a 7-year warranty, and if that's your jam, you can't really go wrong with the new Picanto GT. Thanks again for watching CarTell.tv. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel. We've got so much new content coming out. And don't forget as well to hit that notification button. See you next time. Peace.